From the moment you open your eyes in the morning, the world begins to speak to you, not gently, but loudly. Notifications, emails, opinions, tasks, comparisons, judgments. They all arrive uninvited, demanding your attention. And slowly, you become entangled in this web of noise. But what is often forgotten is that before this noise entered, there was you. Pure, untainted, aware. You were not the noise. You were the space in which the noise happened. And this space, this presence, is where your real self lives. When you begin to identify with this constant outer chatter, you become fragmented. Your mind runs after 10 different things, none of which truly belong to you. Someone says you must be rich. Another says you must be admired. A third says you must always smile. And unknowingly, you become a puppet of borrowed voices. But remember, nothing outside can define you unless you permit it. The real tragedy is not in the noise, it is in forgetting that you are not it. You are the listener, not the echo. You are the presence, not the performance. Pause for a moment and simply observe. The thoughts in your head, the emotions that rise and fall, they are passing waves on the surface of your awareness. Just as the sky is untouched by the weather, your essence remains untouched by these temporary fluctuations. The problem is not that there is noise. The problem is that you believe the noise is you. And this belief creates suffering, confusion, and exhaustion. But awareness, simple, silent awareness, is the antidote. It is your home, your anchor, your truth. Do not look for silence outside. The world has never been silent, and it never will be. But you can be so rooted in your inner stillness that even in the middle of a crowd, you remain untouched. This is not isolation. It is liberation. It is to live in the world yet not be drowned by it. It is to hear everything yet respond from clarity. That kind of presence is not weakness. It is the highest strength. And it is available to you. Not someday, not after 100 meditations, but now, in this very breath. The question is not how to escape the noise, but how to remember who you are amidst it. There is a place within you where the noise cannot enter. Not because you block it, but because it simply doesn't belong there. It is the center of your being, the still core around which all chaos spins. If you forget this center, the noise becomes your identity. But if you remain rooted in it, the world becomes your play, not your prison. You are more than the noise. You always were. Each morning, life offers you a blank canvas, a space untouched by the residue of yesterday. But instead of beginning with clarity, most people start by diving straight into the clutter. Messages, news, obligations, distractions. The moment you wake, your awareness is hijacked before it even remembers its own presence. This is why a few minutes of inner reflection, genuine, conscious stillness, is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is a daily alignment with your own center, a gentle yet powerful reminder of who you are before the world begins is telling you otherwise. Inner reflection is not about thinking, it is about witnessing. There is a vast difference between the two. Thinking is active, it moves outward, often pulling you into the past or pushing you into imagined futures. Witnessing, on the other hand, is a silent watching of what is. It has no agenda. When you sit quietly, with eyes closed and attention turned inward, you begin to notice the layers of mental noise that normally pass unchecked. In that space of observation, even the most stubborn thoughts begin to lose their grip. You start to see your patterns not as identity, but as conditioning. In those first moments of the day, when your mind is not yet fully occupied, your consciousness is most pliable. What you do with this delicate window shapes the tone of your entire day. If you fill it with chaos, you carry that chaos with you. But if you fill it with presence, with conscious breath and inner stillness, you carry a quiet power that no circumstance can disturb. A few minutes may seem insignificant, but they are the foundation, the seed. And what you plant there silently blooms throughout the hours that follow. Reflection is not about solving problems. It is about dissolving the illusion that you are the problem. You are not your confusion. You are the one watching the confusion. You are not your stress. You are the one aware of it. This distance, this space between the observed and the observer, is the very doorway to freedom. Each day, as you sit and simply allow yourself to be, with no fixing, no achieving, you reconnect with the natural rhythm of your own being. A rhythm that is far more intelligent than your plans. The body begins to settle. The breath deepens. The mind, like a restless child finally held in the arms of patience, begins to quiet down. And in that quiet, something profound awakens. Not from outside, but from within. A knowing, a clarity, a presence. You do not have to invent this presence. You only need to remember it. And that remembrance, done daily, becomes the most powerful practice. Not a technique, but a return to yourself, to truth, to stillness. The mind is a magnificent instrument, sharp, agile, and full of potential. But like any tool, it must be used with awareness. Without that awareness, the mind does not serve you. It enslaves you. For most people, the tragedy is not the mind itself, but their complete identification with it. Whatever the mind says, they believe. Whatever it fears, they fear. Whatever it imagines, they chase. And in doing so, they never pause to ask, who is watching this mind? Who is the one behind the screen of thought? Your thoughts are not random. They are shaped by memory, experience, and social influence. And yet they come and go without your command. Have you ever tried to stop thinking, even for a minute? You'll find that the mind has a life of its own. It wanders, it reacts, it judges. But you are not the mind. You are the one who knows the mind is wandering. That distinction, subtle yet profound, is the beginning of mastery. Until you know that you are not your mind, you will obey it blindly, even when it leads you to suffering. To master the mind does not mean to suppress it or wage war against it. It means to understand its nature and establish distance from its pull. A thought may arise. I am not good enough. But instead of merging with it, simply observe it. A thought has come. In that moment of witnessing, the thought loses its power. You no longer wear it like a mask. You see it as a passing cloud in the vast sky of your awareness. This ability to stand apart from the content of your mind is not denial. It is liberation. Mastery also means knowing when the mind is useful and when it is not. For technical tasks, calculations, planning, yes, the mind is brilliant. But for matters of love, peace, inner joy, it is completely inadequate. The mind cannot touch the depth of life. It can only describe it. If you live only in your mind, your life becomes dry. mechanical, repetitive. But when you place the mind in the background and allow presence to take the lead, your actions carry a different flavor. Effortless, intelligent, alive. The moment you stop taking your thoughts so seriously, a quiet intelligence begins to arise from within. Not reactive, not conditioned, but deeply intuitive. This intelligence does not come from books or beliefs. It comes from being, from presence, from stillness. The mind may resist because it fears losing control. But once you begin to taste the space beyond it, you will not want to return to mental slavery. You will know that the mind, when mastered, is a beautiful servant. But when it rules you, it becomes a relentless master. Joy is not something you attain at the end of a long struggle. It is something that already resides within you. But because the mind has been conditioned to seek and chase, you've been led to believe that joy is a reward, a goal to reach after achieving, acquiring, or proving something. From childhood, you were taught that only if you behave a certain way, accomplish certain things, or gain approval from others, then you will deserve to be happy. And so you begin the endless chase after success, relationships, status, possessions, hoping each one will finally bring you the joy you long for. But if you look carefully, you'll see that joy was never in the thing. It was in your experience of the moment. When you achieved something, it wasn't the object that brought you joy, it was the release, the sense of completeness you briefly felt. But then the mind returned with new desires, and the chase resumed. Joy, therefore, cannot be found in accumulation. It is not waiting at the peak of the mountain. It is in how you walk the path. It is in whether you are aware and open enough to experience the beauty of each step. Real joy does not arise from the outside, it unfolds from the inside, when there is alignment between your being and your presence. When your actions, thoughts, and emotions are not in conflict, joy becomes a natural fragrance of your existence. It does not depend on your circumstances. In fact, some of the most joyful people have the least, and some of the most miserable have everything the world chases. This alone should tell you joy is not an achievement. It is a quality of consciousness, not a consequence of accumulation. The more you chase joy, the more it eludes you. This is because chasing implies lack, and joy cannot blossom in the soil of neediness. Instead, it flourishes in contentment, in stillness, in a simple moment of being. Watch a child playing with nothing but a stick and a patch of dirt. There is joy. Not because of the object, but because of the presence. The child has not yet been taught that happiness must be earned. The child is not striving to impress or achieve. He simply is. And in that pure being, joy arises naturally. Your task is not to get joy. It is to uncover what blocks it. Fear, tension, comparison, guilt, regret. These are clouds that cover the sun of joy within you. The sun is not missing. It is merely hidden. When you begin to clear these clouds, not by force, but by awareness, joy reveals itself as your natural state. It is not an emotion. It is the glow of being at peace with life. Not because life is perfect, but because you have stopped insisting that it be. Chaos is not a mistake. It is part of the dance of life. Just as the waves crash upon the shore and winds sweep across the earth, the turbulence of human experience is inevitable. But the mistake lies in believing that you are this chaos. The storms of the world may pass through your life. Loss, confusion, disappointment, conflict, but they are not your identity. Consciousness is the unshaken space in which all of this occurs, like the vast sky that remains untouched by thunder clouds. Your true self lies beyond the turmoil. When you are unaware, you get caught in the surface ripples of existence. Every disturbance shakes you. Someone's words, a missed opportunity, an unexpected change, they stir up emotions, reactions, fear. But when you begin to awaken to your inner awareness, you realize that you are not the ripple. You are the ocean itself. This realization doesn't mean that chaos disappears. It means that your center is no longer at the mercy of outer events. The more conscious you become, the less power the outer world has over your inner state. The beauty of consciousness is that it does not fight chaos. It simply sees it. It watches the madness without becoming it. That is its power. The ordinary mind is reactive. It is constantly resisting or clinging. But the conscious being is responsive. Not in haste, not in panic, but with clarity. When you live from this place of awareness, even your smallest actions carry an elegance, a calm intelligence. Your presence itself becomes healing, not only to you, but to those around you. Chaos may continue to roar, but you become the calm in the center of the storm. You cannot control the world, nor should you try. That is a futile battle. What you can do is establish yourself in that part of you that never changes, never shouts, never fears. This part is not found in your thoughts, nor in your emotions. It is found in the silent witnessing of both. It is the space between your inhale and exhale. It is the awareness that exists even in your sleep. It has no name, no face, no story, yet it is more real than anything you've ever clung to. It is the eternal seat of consciousness, untouched by the chaos of the temporary. When you look at life from this deeper vantage point, chaos begins to lose its grip. It becomes something you observe, not something you drown in. You begin to understand that problems are not obstacles, they are movements in the great unfolding of existence. And you, as consciousness, are not here to be tossed around like a leaf in the wind. You are here to see the wind know it and yet remain still within. This stillness is not weakness. It is the ultimate strength, for only in stillness can true vision arise.